Bonjour French 1, this is your section 1.1 notes all about numbers, and then of course we take that to the real life application of asking for and telling your age using those numbers. Keep in mind as you're taking these notes you should be repeating after me whenever I provide a pause after pronouncing the French word for you so that you get the total vocab experience of seeing the word, hearing the word, saying the word, and writing the word all at once. Also, don't forget, which is standard for our notes, you need to write down the words that are on the line that have the yellow backgrounds to them. You are not required to write down the pronunciation, which is the words in parentheses with the green backgrounds. That is optional and your choice, whether or not you feel like that would be helpful to you. So let's go ahead and get started with the numbers. We're going to start this year with 0 through 30. Eventually we'll learn all the way up to 999, but for the purposes of age, we don't have anybody over the age of 30 years old besides me. So this should do you as far as being able to ask for and tell ages for the meantime. Let's go ahead and get started. The word for 0 in French is zéro. The word for 1 is either un or une. This is the only one that has two versions, and we'll kind of discuss that more in class. Basically, 1 is the same as the words for A, and there's A for masculine items and A for feminine items. But at the risk of making your brains explode here too soon, I don't want to go into too much depth about the whole masculine feminine thing just yet. The word for 2 is deux. The word for 3 is trois. The word for 4 is quatre. The word for 5 is cinq. 6 is six. 7 is sept. 8 is huit. 9 is neuf. And 10 is dix. Going through 11 through 19 now, we have onze. 12 is douze. 13 is treize. 14 is quatorze. 15 is quinze. 16 is seize. 17 is dix-sept. 18 is dix-huit. And 19 is dix-neuf. Then the word for 20, just like in the English language, once you know the word for 20, you combine that with the numbers 1 through 9 to get your 21, 22, 23. So once you know the numbers 1 through 9, and then you combine that with the word for 20, you can actually count all the way through your 20s in French, including the actual word for 20, which is vingt. 21 is vingt et un. 22 is vingt-deux. 23 is vingt-trois. 24 is vingt-quatre. 25 is vingt-cinq. 26 is vingt-six. 27 is vingt-sept. 28 is vingt-huit. 29 is vingt-neuf. And 30 is trente. Now, of course, the main goal in learning numbers for right now is to be able to put those numbers into sentences to ask somebody how old they are, and then, of course, tell how old you or that other person is. So first we need to know the asking part, those questions. First thing you might want to ask is about somebody else. If that somebody else is a boy and you want to know how old is he, you would ask in French, il a quel âge? If you want to know how old a girl is, you'd ask how old is she, which is elle a quel âge? And if somebody is talking directly to you and they want to know how old you personally are, they'll ask you how old are you, which in French is tu as quel âge? Now, in order to answer those questions, you of course need to be able to say ages. Now, you'll notice there's a blank in each one of these sentences for you to actually fill in a number. So for the purposes of these examples right now, out loud, I'm going to go ahead and use the number 15 to say he is 15 years old, she is 15 years old, and I am 15 years old. So if you wanted to say he is 15 years old, il a 15 ans. she is 15 years old would be elle a 15 ans. And I am 15 years old would be j'ai 15 ans. Now don't forget to take a moment and do one of the three things to wrap up. Either ask a question if something was unclear, summarize the video if you feel like you got it all, or if you have a bit of constructive criticism for me, go ahead and give me a critique on how I could make this video better for next year. Otherwise, as soon as you're done entering that, you can go ahead and put your notes page someplace safe to bring it back to class so that you can get full credit for your homework.